Hey losers, welcome to another episode of our weekly show submitted for our disapproval where we quote unquote review your cards. After the game and the entire computer crashed on me, we are trying again here with Filthy Casual
Hello.
and Sevas.
Hey there.
Let's see what we can review before the game crashes on me another time, inevitably. Screaming Drake. No. Uh, Beggar Hammer Mage, Ancients create a Herald with cost 0 in hand, which is 2 mana 0 free, which is a reference to Hope's Hollow. Another Hammer Mage.
What wanna share?
Yeah, you're not streaming.
Oh, I am sorry.
It's okay.
There
It's
you
okay,
go.
we are
Now you see this Hammer Mage, which is a 2 mana 0 free, with that creates Herald in hand on entrance. It's kind of basic. I don't know. Is this a foot card? I don't think so.
It's not bad, right? Stat wise it should be alright. It's a 6 stats for 2 mana. That's the baseline.
Yeah, but
Is
it's.
Harold a human?
I don't think so. I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, no human tribal for you. As this is, but also if you are playing human tribal, you are playing onto Jim and Tim, right?
Yeah, maybe just preparation for food or something.
Yeah, that makes the
Um,
most sense, but it's not amazing in there either.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
it
looks
has to be
alright.
prepared for feed or hand buff or something, because otherwise it would just create the herald in play, not in hand.
And
I mean, it costs 0 anyway.
this is an enchant, but it doesn't really feel worth triggering much.
Yep.
So
Indeed, that's true.
it's kind of a nothing burger. Goodbye, this hammer mage. This nothing burger is the only food you get this time. And so this is your turn, Sebas, for reading.
Alright, I'm reading. It's a 2-drop, it's a green 2-drop. It's Stone Reef Guard. It's a fish, snake, knight. Ooh, knight. Okay, that's spicy. And a green fish, okay. From Ocean Gar. How many green Ocean Gar cards do we actually have?
I think zero, but
Summon.
I'm afraid to check.
Ha! Summon. Put bottom unit on top of the deck. Then give it barrier. And it's safe, it has barrier. Okay, it doesn't draw, it just applies a buff to a card. Do we, have we already figured how much we value barrier on a card? By the way, barrier being when this takes damage, instead of losing HP, it loses the barrier. It's like protection.
Well,
Which
for this review of the card, we are going to pretend that barrier fully works, which might not be the case.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're still testing it.
I did see the discussion going on that this might not work, but that's okay. We'll pretend it does for the sake of this review.
So this is like a 1/1 with divine shield, and that gives a divine shield. Given that this is spirit, I don't think this often gives that barrier to a very relevant unit. Like you can't really manipulate the bottom of your deck much. Like this isn't exactly Fortuna or something.
Exactly,
I
it
mean,
does a lot of
I don't
things.
think you are splashing this.
Neither do I, no. Not for that effect. It
But
does a lot of things, but those things are not supported by those archetypes that this want to be put in, like in that color especially. It's a weak knight. It's not a blue card for Fortuna and it's messing around with bottom of card attack, and it's a blocker basically only. It has barrier. That means you can block a big unit twice with it, which is funny but not desired on a green 2-drop. You want to have big boys in green, when you're something like that, or like knights, which actually want to apply pressure with units. Yeah, I'm not quite convinced on this one.
Yeah, the summon seems pretty kind of because it doesn't put it in your hand, it just puts it on the top of your deck, and you can't really like tutor something with that because, like you said, you're not running Fortuno. You can't really control what's on the bottom of your deck. So, I mean, I feel like this could work if you gave it more stats. I think, I mean, you mentioned that this doesn't really fit perfectly into any existing tribal. They're sort of trying to make their own archetype with barrier, I think. So they're trying to start a whole new thing going on with barrier, but I don't know.
Another thing that
Would this actually be fine as a 1/3?
no idea, honestly. Because here's the thing: as far as barrier itself goes, say it's just kind of like ward for damage, but is giving barrier worth as much as just having barrier? Because some keywords that are given are stronger than when just vanilla has them, right?
That's true, definitely. We
So
already saw it being true with the Samurai 1-drop that gives Vigilant.
so I am thinking like if this is this if giving barrier is like so much more valuable than that, like if there's some kind of target that makes this super worth it. I mean, duelists with Slay, I guess, kinda are good with that, but
I think this card should only, by the way, this card should fetch non-barrier unit.
yeah,
So then
yeah.
you actually have some
That's a good point.
possible place with it where you tutor some card when you play around if 3-drop that needs barrier, like that funny Fiora. Is it Samurai? No, I think it's just a knight that wants to slay a lot of units and then level up and win the game, right?
Oh, you
Yeah,
mean
that doesn't keep the barrier because it changes any in different affinity. Either way, in current form, this is not much. Let's see, a new card. This is my turn, right? Cloud Gauntlets is an 2-mana equipment, give a unit +2 attack and frenzy equal to attack. This is kinda bad.
Yeah, please overwhelm. If it would say overwhelm somewhere in there, then yes, then I would play this.
What will it need to say? I didn't quite understood.
If somewhere on this card it would say also grant overwhelm for this turn, then yes.
well, I mean, you could give a unit with overrun. So, but I
It's
see
true.
your point.
Yeah, but you
But
can also
it is a 2-mana card, so I mean, if it gave overrun, wouldn't it be a little overstated?
Could be.
yeah, in current form this is like very weak, and frenzy is generally a very one of the weakest mechanic. Basically, what I'm saying is that frenzy is an inherently weak mechanic, and and this doesn't do anything amazing with frenzy. Like it doesn't force to block like to attack. Oh no, what shall I do? And so it's kind of, and there isn't any like need for equipment in infrastructure for equipment in strength. Like in Heldim you have already units which have flying with Castiel. In Baldwin, like you aren't playing any tribal with equipment. There's no payoff for equipment, and this is just bad on its own. So don't vote.
Yeah, we already saw frenzy being used as a kind of balance way, like the true 2-drop in Fair Winds. Like you actually want the unit to have one attack, but then you give it frenzy to actually give it more, but it doesn't punch so hard. And the only situation where frenzy actually was good was in the Lizabo 3-drop that had frenzy, because that means you have 2 procs for the Lizabo quest. But that's all.
Acorn Time Corruptor, who reads now?
Sorry
Sevas.
about my dog.
Oh
By
yeah,
the way,
it's 6-drop. 6-drop 5 Or it's Akron, Time Corruptor. Okay. It's a demon horror object from Altachroma. It has Ward and Overrun and has a summon. Oh, it's a Jinx card. Didn't we see this previously? Jinx a number of random cards in the opponent's deck equal to this unit's ADK tripled. Okay, so on play this already Jinx 15. This gets +1/+1 for every 4 Jinx opponent triggers, wherever this is. I think we saw a similar card like a
Yes,
few
we
weeks
definitely
ago.
saw
Yeah, we
Akron
did.
Time Corruptor, but it was different balance wise. Like it had different numbers for sure. Like I think it was an age drop at that point, and you complained that
True.
it already had an age drop. So this is like so this on Summon on baseline jinxes 15 cards in enemy deck.
Yep.
But it's also a big beater. Yeah, I'm not too fond of this once again, I guess.
I mean, you guys probably know how I feel about Jinx cards, so.
No, I don't. Bring it up.
I don't like them. I don't like Jinx as a
But you
mechanic.
didn't
It's
play
not
against
fun.
them because you are a single player. So how can you be mad that other people lose to a deck that feels painful for you if it's not you losing?
No response, just a sad face.
It's not interesting, I guess. And you cannot really play around it. It's inevitable death.
Yes, yes, I can play again around it. I play Eye of the Tyrant and I banish my deck.
Yes, punish your deck. That's how you play around it. I really want to play Herald Akron by now. That would be funny.
You want,
No, as a visitor.
you want to play?
Hello.
Hey,
Oh, hello, Wojak. Hey.
hey, loser. So where do you want to play this again?
With heralding, but actually, right now I'm interested in Wojak's opinion on this. Come on, give us 6-drop.
Oh
Akron.
god. This is one of those cards where like
Yeah, one of those cards.
you know those cards of all time where you look at it and like you know what deck this card was designed for, right? But
Yeah.
you look at it and your brain just turns off. Like it's just blank. Like that's this card for me.
Bottom
Because
text.
I understand this was designed for Jinx.
Yeah.
But I don't think you play this in Jinx, Murray.
No, I just want
So
to
where
just
do you
herald
play this?
it. Because it just triples.
Well,
It just triples the fucking attack and it scales faster with heralding than actually using the Jinx.
Yeah. I mean, do we have generic hand buff? I don't think we do.
Not as of current. Like we have the inbuilt hand buff in that, which could actually be
Okay,
usable.
hear me out, right?
Okay.
Fucking
Give me.
Giga Brain, right? This is the new target for Underlab Skadar.
Okay.
And every other unit in your deck is a fucking stomper.
Okay. No, but actually, I like that.
Just get your health to 40 and fucking play this for like 0 mana. For like 16.
But yeah, I don't like that it scales with hand buffs and other buffs way faster than the Jinx. It's not gonna be played in Jinx. Or just played because it's just a solid 6-drop the Jinx for 15, right?
I mean, yeah, like 15 Jinx is not bad. Like that's more than what's her name?
7-drop?
The 7-drop, yeah, Aeona?
Yeah, Iona.
So yeah, like you either I honestly do think that like you either play it just because it's good enough, in which case I feel like this has a future in just generic mid-range decks as well. Which I get it, mid-range W, but like come on.
No, mid-range is very not kick W in current collective. This is a lie and a slander. A collective has mid-range decks right now because of our action hate and stuff.
I don't know if it's because of that, but it definitely does have mid-range decks.
So yeah, like what?
I mean, all I'm gonna say is that actives don't run any action hate, and I would absolutely call them a mid-range deck.
I haven't thought that yet, honestly. So I don't know. Actually,
Really?
the Vigilant Mage Hunter is technically action hate, so shut the fuck up.
Cope. That is some cope.
Uh,
So what do you do?
so ultimately, do I want to overvote this on or not? I'm not sure, honestly. Like,
You can just dislike and wait for the third version. Then it's a 5-drop.
Yes, you can upvote in game and downvote on Reddit.
That's a play.
actually, this is information that only I was given, but the Reddit voting in game matters. This is really 100% confirmed. I'm not lying.
I think I honestly have looked into the Reddit and the in-game voting a lot, right? And all I'll say is cards get a lot more in-game upvotes than you would expect.
Wait, but how much would you expect, wojak? Then you would have expected.
Okay, so let's say a card is at 0 Reddit upvotes, right? How many would you
Yeah.
expect it to have in-game? Because 9 to 12 is actually a pretty reasonable amount to expect.
Yeah, that's quite some.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly why or how, but that's the voting system.
Maybe it's because when you're voting in game, it kind of forces you to complete the vote. Like you can't look
Yeah,
at cards and
it
not
does
vote.
force you to like either upvote or downvote. That is true.
Or
And,
Alt F4,
and
but no
most
one's
people
gonna do
are
that.
rather lenient of many very designs. Yeah, in current form, I kind of don't care about this, but at the same, maybe something funky will happen. So I am very mixed.
It is one of the cards of all time.
Sure, an upvote.
I mean, there's a lot of bad cards right now, MIO. So
So
Okay, so
for
is
it's
it
now,
my turn?
I don't know. Sure,
Oh
sure.
wait, no, let's like Wujek do it.
Right, who just read
oh,
the
this
card?
Mountain's Shadow is a 20 mana spirit exclusive 8/8 Shadow Titan from HPL with Overrun, and when an allied unit attacks, give this -1 cost wherever it is.
This feels like
And
such a nothing burger.
so this is clearly meant for token decks, probably primarily like something like Bullock. One small issue, too slow.
Yeah, too slow.
Yeah, it costs too much for what it is.
How
It
much
probably
really?
needs to be downcosted a bit.
How much really it costs though?
I mean, if you're attacking, wild, maybe wild, right? But I feel like if you attacked 20 times in a game, there is some probability your opponent may be dead.
I think this.
If this costs 5 already, like if you can play those big chunguses on turn 5, it's already alright. That's been the case with most of those biggest chunguses, right? But this doesn't drop on 5 with that much
no,
cost. Design-wise, I think it's fine. Just the
no,
number and the cost
design
is
is
off.
neat. The numbers are just off.
Yeah.
Right now I feel like this probably drops. If you're really lucky, turn 6. Around turn 7 most of the time. And if you're playing a token deck, you're dropping Big Blue on turn 6. And the game is probably over by then.
This doesn't have agile. I, I feel like it should have it. Like since you are trying to finish the game at that point.
Yeah, that's another thing. The lack of agile on this is really hurts the card viability. Also, why is it not a 9/9? That's what our giants are started at.
Oh wait, it's not.
Yeah, it's an 8/8.
Holy, I missed it.
Well,
Yeah, which
well,
like
Wasn't it a
mildly annoys
dinosaur?
me.
he's just slightly.
I mean, we have giants that aren't dinosaurs. We have a code
That's
conductor.
not even a giant. It's a titan.
Listen, he's trying his best, okay? Let the little guy be.
He really lives in the shadows of others.
Technically, we have one like self-discounting unit that is in fact an 8/8, and that's Omch.
And it's made by the same person, makes sense. This is like conspiracy to replace the old 9-9 standard with new 8-8 standards, which I think it shows that things keep getting worse.
I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest. I think the only reason I made like Mirage Swamp Stomper a 9/9 is because Obsidian Paladin existed before it, and that was a 9/9 as well.
9-9 as a number
There was
looks
literally no other thought, just head empty.
9-9 as a number looks way cooler than 8-8, which is very important for gameplay because it actually intimidates player. Like you put
It does, yeah. It does look a lot more intimidating,
like
which is kind of funny.
9-9 hits me twice, I die. 8-8 hits me twice, I live, right? Like huge difference. So yeah, in current form, this is terrible. This is shameful display. This is really a shadow.
I mean, honestly, I upvoted it on the basis that like worst case scenario, we can just update it.
Yeah, I hope they if it
And
doesn't
like
get
even
in, then
even
they
if
release
like
new numbers.
the card is only gonna be in standard for like 2 months, so we won't. There's a higher likelihood we won't even have to use a standard update to update it. And in legacy, you could act in legacy. Even at 20 mana, you can technically get this down to 0 by turn 4. But it is a very specific setup.
Alright, maybe I should have upvoted it then. Monkey Climber is 1 mana 1 to Monkey Athlete with Leap and summon gain Agile and +2/+0 if you have less than 3 cards in hand.
Monkey.
Is this just a
Artist is Xiaomi, apparently. I have no clue.
Alright, so this is like Xiaomi's photo of a monkey. Do you know that, by the way, that our gorillas exhibits are basically consensual because there is no way to close them for sure. Like we don't know what's the limit for what they can open.
Monkeys could be escaping at any time. They
This
could be
reminds me of
outside your house right now.
the train.
Yeah, the Shane, one of the cards of all time.
There was one of the guys all the
But
time.
this one is
I
like
mean,
better
so
designed. Like this makes more sense than the train to me.
so like, here's the thing: the train at least gained unblockable.
Yeah, but it doesn't hurt.
This is a 1-drop that trades with other 1-drops, which is kind of a big issue.
Yeah, and if it had unblockable, you could put in the flavor text the joke about the very quiet gorilla.
No, but so I was considering pushing like low hand size archetype. Because I think some kind of low hand size aggro could potentially be interesting. I mean, I like my Infernities. I think they're a cool archetype. But having a 1-drop that is 2 stat points over curve
Well, yeah.
is like the tiniest building block for a deck like this. It's like trying to lay a house. You try to build a house, right? And you just bring 1 brick and you leave it there. Job's done. Actually, for a more fitting allegory, it is like trying to build a nuclear power plant, right? And you build the restrooms. Friendly reminder: this is the 40th anniversary of the construction of the first nuclear power plant in Poland. It started 40 years ago.
There were nuclear power plants in Poland?
You gotta
Uh,
start somewhere.
So the construction of the first one was actually started like 40 years ago, and I think like 5 months from now. But how do I put it other than everything is done except for the reactors?
What a fitting metaphor. Uh, does anyone want to defend this garden?
I mean, not. I mean, I think it's funny because it's monkey, and I like monkeys.
That is a fair point.
What tribes is Dunewalker Climber?
How about you, Sebas? Do you have anything to say?
I already suggested Heldum quest Heldum in this, right? Your guys already mentioned the funny train, Choo Choo. That's kinda wanted to be played in the Discord's Heldum. That never really was a thing. This probably would go in the deck, sure. But the thing is, if you play something like Quest Heldum, you're just throwing away your mulligans, and you actually want to mulligan for a 1-drop. It just so suboptimal. I'm not sure this will be ever a thing. Also, this is not a passive. This is a summon, which
Yeah.
is very, very sad because the train is a passive. Like you can actually play this. It's weak, okay, but over the time you play stronger cards instead of just forcing the quests and just play out 0-cost cards turn 1 because you want this to be a 3-2 agile, right?
Are
It's
you telling me
a
that this
sad
card
part.
is so bad that it makes Dead Zone design principles look good in comparison?
Yeah.
Fair
I
enough
actually
then.
forgot how. Wow, I actually forgot how bad Swift Engine is. I just had to look at it right now.
Yep. Yep.
Like, if you have one or less cards in hand, you can't get any more than that. It is a 2-free agile unblockable. Over Johnston Deep, it gets agile and 1 stat point.
Godspeed.
Also, fun fact, because I tried to find it again, because I was like, something in my brain said that Swift Engine is a free when it's fully buffed. It's not. So I tried searching it, and it's not a train. Like, it doesn't actually have the train tribe,
Is it a
despite
vehicle?
Hornpike. It is a vehicle, but the Hornpike has the train
Yeah,
tribe.
but I think Hornpike is newer, isn't it?
It is. I just find it funny that like we never got around to updating it.
Train 5 will never be a thing.
Alright, whose turn is for the reading
Oh,
now?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Sleep is a 4-mana spell from Saga with exhaust all units and Surge 2. They stay exhausted until end of next turn.
So this is
Sleepy
like
Wizard.
just how was it called again? Down and dirty, but newer. The like the default 4 mana is not that strong.
It's not horrible. By today's standards, it's not insane, but Down and Dirty was a very strong card at 3. You keep in mind, playing Arcane Scriptures for exhaust plus draw an action for 5 mana was pretty respectable.
I
So
think it
I
was
would,
even pretty respectable for 6 mana.
yeah, because that card got nerfed, didn't it?
It got, yes.
Yeah, and at 6 mana I would play that. Obviously times are very different nowadays, but it still means that every time I see a card that exhausts all units, I just get instant Vietnam flashbacks.
I remember.
The impact that the fog meta had on old collective players is horrible.
I think we should get this in so we can unnerf the Faithless Witch. Yeah, old collective boardless control with Rictic 40 fireball ending was quite an experience for sure. And
If you think about it, if you really think about it, Sky Commander Pier was Lucifuge before Lucifuge became a thing. I mean, think about it. It was a 9-drop of ward that exhausted the entire board every turn.
Lucifer has the respect to win the game at some point.
That is a correct statement.
And the
I mean, Riktik also won the game at some point when he got level 4 and could play like 20 fireballs phase. It's great.
Who
I
needs to win the game when you can just stall it out so long your opponent dies before the game ends?
so
Because fun fact, back in my days, Riktik's level 4. So first Riktik level 4 that I remember was when you kill a unit, you get a copy of it. I think it was only the
when the
first unit.
first unit dies in a turn, so your opponent could technically manipulate this if they have initiative.
But at one point, uh, but it was like in the collective era, so like whoever did balance then, thought, it would be very epic if instead of like taking a Bricktick from the direction of like a sleigh-based control hero, we made him action spam. And the level 4, I mean, the passive was changed, and the level 4, before it was a level 5, now it is a level 4, became your actions are doubled, and plus
Wait.
1 for each level past 4.
Wait, all of them blinkedly? Like, no matter
All
how
of
many you
them.
played?
No matter how many you play.
Oh dear God.
I missed Orvlictic so much. I mean, not the action spam
So,
one, the murder one.
The best finisher that you would use back in those days was this old ass card called Fira's Matchstick, which for 0 mana allowed you to discard 3 cards and replace them with fireballs. And usually, double casting that at 12 mana, sending just 12 mana worth of fireballs at the opponent's face was enough to win the game.
Yes,
That sounds
quite a trip down memory lane, but going back to this card specifically, we are at very different spot balance wise. Do we have enough potential in control decks of Mind and KM variety for this to see any kind of showcase in the last 2 months?
Well, for 6 mana, I feel like Rikta can just clear the board, which is a bit wild. I mean, the Wormhole Detour is 7 mana now, to be fair. That card was so insane at 6. We now have Hoarfrost Flask. Hoarfrost in a Flask, which, wow, that card needs to get hit. That card is not. I want to say this is kind of just worse than the other options, but not in a way that it's like a bad card. Like 4 mana for a Fog effect is probably about fair. I mean, if 3 was too cheap, then 4 is probably there.
Called it. I think I suggested putting this up to 4.
The Surge is cute. I feel like it's gonna be very niche though. But I can definitely see a situation which it will come up. Especially against token-oriented decks. Since, if you exhaust a board of Bear Spirits, for example, they can't really replay units with Agile to like go over it, because their entire game plan depends on tokens. Like, those things are gonna be staying exhausted.
It's there to give you options.
Though, one negative of Fog effects now is we have Vigilant. And Vigilant is a very epic keyword.
Yeah, I expect to see a lot of Vigilant in the next 2 months, so this probably just won't see much showcase, like, especially in next weeks, people will play this active matters that you speak of, so like this will be pretty useless against it. Though, I mean, I guess you can use this in the active decks in hope your opponent isn't in a mirror, so your Vigilant units can go over enemy.
I mean, you can, or you can play a Lucifuge for 4 mana.
Fuck. So,
Blancatora is a very fair and balanced card, and I completely agree with it stacking its discount every turn. I love playing Attune, refresh 1 mana with the Hero and Altar. Yes, minus 4 mana Lucifuge.
That sounds like quite a high roll and very difficult to replicate in average game.
It's not.
Sure,
It's
sure,
not. It's not. Keep in mind, like we literally got a guaranteed attuned tutor every turn
Yeah, so in
nowadays.
current form, it doesn't sound like this game will with this card will see a lot of games. So yeah, it's a downvote for now, I suppose.
Oh,
Who's
users.
voting now?
I think
Reading.
you are
All
voting,
right,
but you're probably asking for reading.
go ahead.
Oh. Horrific Visions is a 3-mana Mind Curse from Altercrona with give a unit, can't attack, and end of turn jinx 3 random cards in your deck. Why not can't block?
So this is like imprisonment, but for Jinx.
Um,
I don't like imprisonment.
it's imprisonment, but 1 mana less doesn't give can't block. And debatable how much weaker slash stronger jinxing 3 random cards is. It's iffy. Because it's one of those effects where it can high roll or it can low roll, right?
I think on average, like Jinx free random cards is weaker than Get a Candy.
On average, probably yes. That being said, being able to neutralize a what's it called, a Cassiel or any other like unit that your opponent may depend on for 3 mana is generally pretty good, considering that the our cheapest hard removal options are 4.
Yeah, removing Cassiel is pretty good. Though I just don't think this contributes enough new to the game to be justified. Like, I get Jinx redundancy, but other than that, it's kind of just imprisonment all over again, so I kind of don't care.
I mean, is it even like redundancy for Jinx decks? Like this doesn't, unless a different flavor of Jinx would pop up. Considering Jinx Marie right now, this doesn't actually give the deck anything that it like didn't already have. The deck is removal.
And actually, we have a Jinx specialist with us in the studio right now. Sevas, what do you think of the card? Do you think it has any potential whatsoever?
Alright. Here's what I think. The Jinx Marie is the best Jinx variant right now. And this card is blue. And as you mentioned before, yes, we already have other stun cards that cost 4. And they already been played, so yes, you would maybe consider replacing the because we already got action support with the 2-drop that procs whenever you play an action and Jinx 3. So you play that on turn 2, then you remove the strongest attacker on turn 3 and Jinx sinks, and then keep Jinxing until you win the game, right? What I would like to see is a Brick deck, Jinx deck. Yeah, that would be interesting, and this card provides for that deck.
Alright, one person
I mean, yeah, Crazy Crone is an insane card. I could totally see some sort of Jinx turbo
It's absurd,
from that.
Filthy Casual, what's your opinion on the card?
I mean, yeah, it seems good for what it is, but I mean, I don't like Jinx.
Please no.
But yeah, this I mean, it gives the unit can't attack, 3 mana. It seems pretty good. Jinx 3 random cards of the deck. Again, that's Jinx is a high roll thing. Like you could Jinx the bottom 3 cards of the deck and they'd literally never get drawn.
About that.
Unless you're playing against like Fortuna or something, in which case that would be good.
Unless self-sack incident of 2022.
I see this is a very controversial card in the group right now, but I must say I just don't think it's interesting enough to be justified, honestly. So that's going to be my vote. And reading next card, Flame Arsman is a 2-mana 2/1 with summon scout and equipment, and it has a barrier.
Cute.
It is time to test barrier again. Last time I checked, it is non-functional.
Well, I
Sorry,
think we said before that we're going to be assuming that the barrier works for these cards when
As
we're
far
reviewing
as
them.
voting goes,
but it doesn't.
we are not sure if barrier can even work because, like,
Yeah, I mean, right now, as of right now, the way I see it is a mechanic that has been attempted before and has historically not worked. Right now, it's actually pretty close to working, but there are two really big issues with it.
also the art is
So,
like
do you
pretty
want me to mention
abstract.
those issues?
Yeah, sure.
So, these are just two that I've happened to find in my literally less than 5 minutes of testing. Because yes, a PSA to the collective player base. You can test cards. You can put them in the card fetcher spam. You can you can just type in the card name and card fetcher spam with sub, pull the link, put it in your card creator, just slap it in game, and you can test it. You don't have to make claims in general about whether it works or not without actually testing the card. Thank you, Puapka. Um,
Listen. I just had experience in history of the game. Okay.
but yes, in my extremely limited amount of testing, I have had two bugs. First of all, the card seemed to not function with recursion effects. Basically, if you recur a barrier unit, it will either temporarily or for an extended time keep the amount of health that barrier prevented, and I think even the lethal damage, and just gain that as temporary health.
Oh.
Second thing that I experienced that is way funnier and way wilder, for some reason, if a this only I only was able to replicate this with tool cards so far. So it may be exclusive to the tool cards, but I have never seen this happen with any other ability before. If a tool card comes back into play with its own effect that puts it into play like basically on pass, it's really weird. No other ability works like that. No barrier unit can be targetable by actions.
Uh-oh.
None of them. No
Goodness.
ability behaves like this, and this is the big thing that makes me say, hey, maybe this should have more time in the oven.
Hmm.
That is very revealing of the nature of this kind of player-created keyword, for
I
sure.
mean, the thing about making a keyword like this is that it requires a lot of testing. There's a lot of edge case scenarios that could function and could not function, and you just kind of have to test all of them. Which I'm gonna do right now while we talk. Um, so if you ever hear a little, hey, this is me, I found another bug, you know what card I'm talking about.
So for sure, I remember that. I didn't test the card when I said that it probably doesn't work, but I just remember history of old endure because right now endure gives that temporary HP, right, which isn't something that it did in the past. It's like endure, the Euclink was just a 1/1 and it was a bulky mess that didn't always work, and it generally functioned weird, and so I thought that the barrier, if endure didn't work back then the barrier has no chance of working either. So yeah, it's a don't vote then. I don't know. It feels weird
I
because
right now, from what I've seen of the card, I can't of the keywords function. I tested it on the other barrier card, not this one. To be completely fair, but this one is older, so I would assume maybe have more outdated blocks. But I think they have the same blocks. But I cannot, in good faith, upvote a keyword mechanic like this that I know does not work and causes major bugs.
so yeah, it's a don't vote for now.
Definitely appreciate the effort that went into making it though, and it is the closest I think we got and will probably get to getting a functional barrier keyword, a functional divine shield. So
Yeah, it's
I really wish the man what's spectral? Yes, spectral. Luck in making that work. Because I think
yeah,
it's really close. It's just that right now there are problems.
So, Sevas, can you read the card?
Alrighty, it's a 3-drop in strength. It's Festivity Enforcer. It's a robot from Parodus. It has ambush, it has wards, it's a 1/4, and whenever a player plays a card that costs 3 or more, this deals 2 damage to them. If it costs 6 or more, they also lose 1 mana next turn. So we got some good statted hate burn card-ish. We already have this kind of a similar card. It's also a 3 cost, but it is like leap. It's also 1/4 that burns whenever that card enters hands. It probably would go together with Enforcer in some deck. Just
Hi
very
guys.
pain, burn, whatever.
Hi guys. I replicated the bug.
Congratulations. Yeah, probably Barrier needs some little fixes, tweaks. But yeah, it was pretty close. I have no particular feelings about this one. It's just hate burn. It's alright.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I look at this card and all I see is just wow. Red burn engine number 27.
Yeah.
Ward.
But it's not an
Why does
it's
this
not an
have ward?
engine. It's not.
Why does this have 4 HP and ward?
it is a pain to remove.
Like that
Yeah, I
is
look.
so overkill.
So you cannot say dice removal.
Yes, filthy casual.
Oh, I mean, I don't have too many strong opinions about this card. It just seems like mildly annoying to play against if you're playing a high curve deck, and if you're playing a low curve deck, it just barely matters. I mean, it's a blocker because it's 1/4, so it can block one of your units. But other than that,
Hey guys, I found another bug.
oh,
Yes, wojak. What is it?
So to be fair, this is an edge case scenario, but if you have Thornleaf Guard and a 1 HP unit on board, and you play Forest of Cinders, which is a very old card with the effect of deal 1 damage to all units, if any die, play this again, that will kill them, and they will have 2 HP in the graveyard.
oh my.
Very amusing. So I am big into hate bears, but I think that hate bears that just burn don't force interesting gameplay enough. And the 1 mana loss seems like super irrelevant at that point in the game. While the so yeah, not too interested in it. No cards are available to vote in. So does anyone wants to bring up any card from the subreddit, or are we ending the show?
I would like to say, please upvote the first Night Barry comes medic update. He was wrongfully knighted by illegal means,
Oh,
and his knight status is currently being revoked.
Added some deep lore in there.
So
but it says knight on the card.
I won't say who like made the update, just to like not put them on a pedestal, but like I just want to say because the reasoning for it was very funny, because it was meant to be for mechanical synergy, right? And like Barry, I can get, but they also wanted to update Agate, which would make Agate able to draw himself with his effect, making his ability sometimes at random completely useless. And I think that's very funny.
It was very true that those updates were not intended by the design and creator of the cards. But with that is the closing statement of today. since no one wants to talk about any card from the subreddit, so goodbye everyone. See you.
Bye.
Bye.